for coming to our first American Center for Mongolian Studies Field School webinar for our summer 2025 season. My name is Maggie Lindruth. I am the U.S. Director of ACMS. And I will get us started today. Like I said just a minute ago, we are recording this webinar, so it will be on our YouTube channel in a bit. And yeah, let's get started. So I'll just give you a brief overview here for a few minutes. I'll try not to talk for too long before I let our fabulous instructors on this webinar give you some more information about their courses, but I'll give you a brief overview about ACMS, or the American Center for Mongolian Studies. ACMS is a US and Mongolia-based nonprofit that supports the development of Mongolian studies and academic exchanges with and in Inner Asia, including Mongolia, of course. And the activities of the ACMS include developing academic resources, student and scholar research, supporting different academic partnerships, and just supporting activities related to all fields of study related to Mongolia. So our goal here is not only to support Americans or scholars, but to support people who are interested in and enthusiastic about Mongolia and Mongolian studies in all of the different forms that can take. ACMS was founded in 2002. And our Ulaanbaatar, or UB office, opened in 2004. So we've been around for a pretty long time now. Currently, in our UB office, we have 4 amazing full-time staff members, one of whom, Tufche, is on our call here today. And they are there anytime that you're in Mongolia. Any of you, whether you live there, whether you were visiting, are welcome to come by our office on Seoul Street and visit. We really strive to create a sort of academic embassy, some kind of home away from home where research or language classes in Mongolian language, et cetera, are available for people who are interested in those things. Like I said, I am the U.S. director. My name is Maggie, and I am based in New Haven, Connecticut in the USA. Feel free to use that QR code at the bottom of the screen if you'd like to subscribe to our newsletter, check out our website, follow us on social media. These slides can also be shared after the webinar is over, so you'll have all of this info as well. ACMS offers a lot of different programs, and I'm going to give you a brief rundown of those before we jump into the field school, which is why you're all here today. So we offer research fellowships for early career scholars, postdocs, recent graduates, graduate students, faculty members to do summer field research in Mongolia. We offer year-round Mongolian language classes at all levels, from beginner through advanced, as well as an intensive summer Mongolian language program with daily Mongolian language classes for intermediate and advanced students. We have a multilingual research library and library fellowships. Our library collection includes books in English, Mongolian, Chinese, Russian, and other languages, all about Mongolian studies. We offer regular speaker series events and other types of events and community programming, both in person and online. We have a program called the Overseas Faculty Development Seminar, and also offer custom programs for universities and educational groups, faculty members, instructors who want to bring their students or other groups of people to Mongolia for an educational experience. And of course, today, we're going to be talking about our summer field school. So the field schools, which is why you're all here, are interdisciplinary experiential short courses. They focus on different topics and themes related to one aspect of Mongolian culture, development, history, society, past or present, etc. They were first offered in 2019. And then after, of course, a brief hiatus in 2020, they were offered again in 2021 online and restarted in person in Mongolia in summer 2022. We had a great season last year in summer 2024, and we're super excited to do it again this year. Our courses tend to change from year to year. And so if there's a course this year that you're really excited about, we do encourage you to apply because you never know if it'll be available next time. And the field school courses, like I said, we're really trying to create an environment here that's available to all sorts of people who are enthusiastic and excited about Mongolia and Mongolian studies, whether you are from the US, from a different country, from Mongolia, and whether or not you are a graduate student, an undergraduate student, a recent grad, a teacher or faculty member, or just someone else who is a professional in some other field but have an interest in this, a professional in a related field. If you are retired, or anyone who considers themselves a lifelong learner, you just have to be over the age of 18. I'll give you a brief overview of our 2025 field school courses, and the instructors who are here today for these courses are able to give you a little bit more information in just a few moments. I just want to go over some general field school info and application info as well before we dive into those. So our first course from June 9th through 22nd is Hustai National Park, Managing Biodiversity in the Home of Mongolia's Native Horses. Our second two courses, which are two sessions of the same course, are Mongolia's Ancient Cities, Archaeological Excavation with the Uyghur Cultural Heritage Project. That runs from either June 14th through 29th, June 28th through July 12th, or you can do both sessions of that and be in the field doing archaeological excavation from June 14th through July 12th, so a whole month. And then our third program this summer is the impacts of climate change on biodiversity in Hustai National Park from July 21st through August 3rd. And you are all welcome to apply for any one of these courses or more than one of these courses if they fit into your schedule and budget. So some general course information. Both course 1 and course 3, we're looking at having ideally a maximum enrollment of around 20 participants, whereas course 2, we're looking at maybe 10 to 12. However, if there's a lot of interest, we can try to revisit this, but that'll make sort of the best size of group is what we've found in the past. And if you're interested in more than one program or more than one session of course 2, or for example, course 2 and also course 3, you're welcome to apply for all of those or any one of those. All courses are taught in English, and no previous experience in Mongolia or with the subject matter is required. All participants are responsible for making their own travel arrangements to and from Mongolia if you're coming from out of the country. And most people do arrive via air at the Ulaanbaatar International Airport, the Chinggis Khan International Airport. And there's flights from multiple international locations, lots of ways to get there, most commonly through Seoul or Istanbul. All courses begin and end in UB, and we can help you make accommodation arrangements before and or after the program if you'd like to either come early and get adjusted or stay later and enjoy more of Mongolia's amazing sites. And during the program, ACMS, again, will make all transportation, accommodation, and meal arrangements for the group, unless that's otherwise noted, but it shouldn't really be a problem. All participants travel together, and pretty much all program activities, travel, etc., unless there's an emergency or an illness, are required for all participants. So let's talk a little bit about tuition and fellowships. So each course for one session, so that 2 weeks for each course, is $3,500 for US or international, and by international I mean non-Mongolian citizen participants. And Mongolian citizens have a bit of a different cost breakdown, as you can see here, about 1,200 Mongolian tugriks. And course 2, again, one session, 2 weeks, is 3,500, and both sessions combined would be 6,750 if you wanted to do both sessions of course 2. And this tuition covers everything related to the program except your airfare to and from Mongolia, or your transportation to and from Mongolia. So all accommodations, housing, meals, transportation, site visits, course materials, instruction, etc. If that seems like a lot of money, fear not. We have fellowships available thanks to the support of the Henry Luce Foundation, as well as several private donors. So we have partial fellowships ranging from $500 to $2,000, and we can always revisit those amounts as well. So our priority deadline for fellowship consideration is February 15th, and our final deadline for the waitlist consideration, any funding that's left, is March 14th. And we do encourage applicants to apply for funding from other sources as well. And we also, those fellowships, I listed dollar amounts, but they are available to both Mongolian participants and international participants. So let's talk a little bit about the application here. All of our applications are submitted online through our online application system on our website. We don't accept printed and mailed applications or supporting materials. Please don't send us a PDF via email. Submit it through the portal. All applications must include all of your personal details, which you'll be able to see in the application form, as well as just a brief statement of interest. Why do you want to do the program? Why is this important to you? As well as any previous experience in remote areas, as well as a CV and an optional letter of recommendation. If you want to apply for a fellowship, you must also include an additional statement that's talking about why you would be a good candidate for the fellowship. For example, financial need, diversity that you bring to the program, any barriers to participation. Is this important to your career, to your studies, to your personal interests, or something else that's not listed here? Like I mentioned, our deadline for fellowship consideration, the priority consideration, is February 15th, whereas the waitlist is March 14th. And then the final program admission deadline for all of the programs for self-funding is April 25th. After you apply, and after the deadline by which you apply, for example, February 15th, you should be notified within about 2 weeks of that deadline. So if you apply tomorrow, you still won't hear back until the end of February, because we want to make sure we have all of the applications and then we will review them. So academic credits, we cannot directly offer academic credits. However, if you are a student at a university, or maybe you have students who are interested in these programs and you are an instructor, we can work with you to essentially certify that our course was worth between 3 and 6 university credit hours. And we can help you make sure that the assignments are evaluated and assessed in a way that allows you to get credit. But we encourage you to talk to your academic institutions, any representatives there ahead of time, to see if you're able to get some kind of independent study credit, internship credit, or fulfill some other program requirement by completing one of these courses. So let's talk a little bit about safety and health. So in general, Mongolia has a high COVID-19 vaccination rate and is generally, at least, I don't know, in my experience, I've generally felt very safe traveling in Mongolia, existing there, living there, have not had any major problems. But, you know, like anywhere, try to be mindful and also familiarize yourself with any restrictions or vaccination requirements before you come into the country. We have a safety, health, and risk management plan. And if you have specific concerns or a situation that applies to you, we encourage you to reach out to us separately and just ask us about that. You know, we're happy to talk to you, answer any questions. And of course, all of that information will be kept confidential. We will also be happy to support any participants to find and access appropriate medical care while you're in the country. However, the costs of that care are the responsibility of participants. And be aware that certain types of treatment, particular medical supplies, or things that we might kind of take for granted if you live in the United States, may not be available, including certain types of medication. So we encourage everyone, if you're coming from out of the country, to bring any medications, both prescription and non-prescription, that you think that you might need while you're there. And all international participants are required to have a travel insurance plan to participate. Additionally, just a note, certain substances that may be legal in the United States or other countries for medicinal use are not necessarily legal in Mongolia. So just check local laws and see if you generally take something for medical reasons that you're not sure about. Check and make sure that it's legal before you bring it into the country. And similarly, when you're traveling in the countryside, keep in mind that medical facilities outside of UB may have less resources, or they might just be really far away. And so that's something to consider. And again, try to bring enough medication for the entire duration of your travel. And I do include vitamins and allergy medications, et cetera, in that. In terms of accessibility, the ACMS will do our best to accommodate participants with a variety of disabilities of different types, whether they be physical disabilities, cognitive or mental disabilities of any kind. However, just keep in mind if you have a severe mobility limitation or you know someone who's interested who does, that a lot of places in the Mongolian countryside, especially, but even in the city, may have different types of accessibility infrastructure, or they may lack accessibility infrastructure, such as wheelchair accessible ramps, mobility aids, and things for low vision or hearing. And some field school sites or activities may be partially or entirely inaccessible. However, we can try to do our best to accommodate a wide variety of different disability, accommodations. Additionally, different dietary restrictions, whether they be for, preference or, medical reasons, such as vegetarian or vegan options, maybe they're pretty widely available in UB at this point. However, in the countryside, and even in lots of UB, milk products, any kind of dairy product, meat and wheat are staple parts of the diet. However, we have had participants in field schools in the past who had severe allergies or restrictions to some things in those food groups who had really successful, great field school experiences. So we welcome applications from anyone, and we encourage you to communicate as much as you're comfortable about any disability accommodations, dietary restriction accommodations, anything like that that you might need well in advance, so that we make sure we have plenty of time to prepare and make the necessary accommodations so that you can enjoy and participate to the fullest extent in the field school. All right, and safety, just one final note, and then I believe I will turn it over to our presenters here. Participant safety on the field schools is of utmost importance, and that is both physical safety as well as mental and psychological safety. All participants, staff, and instructors are required to sign a code of conduct agreement before participating in a field school course. And harassment, discrimination, other types of God forbid, violence of any kind are strictly prohibited. And if a participant feels they have experienced any of those things from anyone related to the program or from a community member, we encourage you to report the incident. And if you don't feel comfortable reporting it in an official capacity, you're always welcome to seek other types of support as you desire, and we will strictly observe your confidentiality and respect that. So now this is the more fun part. I would love to turn it over to our instructors to talk about some field school course details. There will be time at the end of this entire presentation, after we talk about all of the field school courses, to ask questions. So please stick around. And yeah, I will turn it over to Serma, Dr. Nyamdava. Let me just unmute you. Okay, you are unmuted. So yeah, Serma, take it away.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. This is Serma Nyamdava. First of all, I would like to thank ACMS for organizing wonderful summer schools in Mongolia in 2025. Also, I appreciate people attending in this webinar and showing their interest in our field school by taking their time and efforts for learning about ACMS Summer Field School. This year, The two courses will be organized at Costa National Park. The first one is Costa National Park, Managing Biodiversity in the Home of Mongolia's Native Horses. It's going to be held between June 9th and June 22nd. And the participants are going to spend most of their time in the park, like 11 days out of 14 days. For this course, there are 6 instructors and 1 supporting staff. Before diving into general understanding of our 2 courses, instructors will introduce themselves in brief. Let me start with myself. As I mentioned, my name is Tirman Yendar. I'm leading 2 courses at the Stan National Park this summer. Currently, I'm working as a senior lecturer and head of the Department of Public Administration at the National University of Mongolia. Also, I serve as a consultant for Sustainable Fiber Alliance for the project of climate risk and disaster resilience. I obtained my PhD degree in Natural Resources and Sustainability program from University of Alaska Fairbanks, USA in last year. My doctoral dissertation focused on implementation of community-based nature resource management principles within the buffer zone of Stan National Park, Mongolia. My research mostly focuses on community-based nature resource management and climate change issues. And I have involved in ACMS field schools in the past, especially 2022. I worked as a coordinator and translator for birding and climate change field school. And in last year, I led same field school as this one. Now, the other 3 instructors joined the webinar. So, Dr. Tirendolun, would you start?
Sure. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. We are so appreciated to see you here. And my name is Tsegi. Tsirindolom, you can call me Tsegi. In Mongolia, most of us have a short name. And we would like to, really would like to share last 13 years history of Costa National Parks management and some results. And I hope we can say every day program will be different. For example, one day we will see horse behavior, one day we will see try to watch wolf, or one day we will count some marmot, and one day maybe we could go to the Mongolian traditional culture, or such as many interesting programs are waiting you, and it's really appreciate to say that. And the hosta is, as say Tsirma says, the one of the famous and important place for the reintroducing the wild horse, reintroducing into the nature the wild horses. And there are only 8 programs are trying to reintroducing the Przewalski horse in the world nowadays. But IUCN, International Union of Conservation of Nature, said only wild horse is only successful project is going in Hosta National Park, and it means you will see their truly wild horse in the nature at our national park. We would say that it's really good news to human history. Yeah. That's a short interview.
Thank you, Tirendolun. Mr. Ormay, would you go next?
Of course. And hello, fellows. My name is Oğunbayır Gambold. You can call me Oğna. And I'm wildlife biologist and protection manager at Hosta National Park since 2012. I have over 13 years of experience in environments, specifically focusing on carnivores, study and their conservation. And that's it. And happy to meet you guys.
Please, Orna. Mr. Batse, would you go next?
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. My name is Batsaya Tsokt. I'm a wild horse and wildlife biologist in Hosta National Park. I'm working here last 5 years. My study topic is studying to movement, ecology, and the behavior of the Bridgewaski horses. And in 2016, between 2018, we satellite covered about the 21 Bridgewaski horses. In this time, we are interested for movement ecology, movement behavior for Bridgewaski horses. If you interested for this course, you can more experience for the movement behavior of the one of the uh, rarest horse in Costa Nation Park. Yeah, happy to see you again. Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Batsaya.
One more thing, can I add?
Sure.
One more thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. In this course we will more deeply understand about our national parks management, but our history, we have uh, good and bad things in our management. In that time, maybe you also involved in our national parks management, and you can give us some suggestion. Also, we will find some solution together. It is the one part of our course.
Yeah.
Mhm. Also, we have Dr. Usuk Chargatorch as one of the main instructors. He's a professional biologist, and he had worked as a wildlife and wild horse biologist and research and training manager at Hosta National Park since 2003, like over 20 years. But currently, he is working as a senior lecturer at biology department at National University of Mongolia. He's an expert of Przewalski horses, so you will learn a lot from him during the field school. Also, we have Mr. Piotr Purto. He had worked as a buffer zone manager at the Hosta National Park since between 2005 and 2015. So he will provide more comprehensive understanding of buffer zone management and involved of local communities in biodiversity conservation at Hosta National Park. Also, we have Ms. Amon Batsuri as a coordinator and translator. Currently, she is a PhD candidate at the University of Alaska Fairbanks, and her doctoral research focus on evaluating sustainability policies through the lens of well-being measurements in Ulaanbaatar District. She also worked as an instructor, coordinator, and translator for the several past SMS field school. Next slide, please. Before delving into key aspects of our field school, I will provide a basic understanding of Hosta National Park. Hosta National Park is one of the national parks in Mongolia. The park was established to implement the introduction of Przewalski horses in 1992 in Hosta, where the park is located. The Przewalski horse is a rare and endangered species of horse, and Przewalski horse is also considered to be the last surviving species of wild horse in the world. The total population of Przewalski horses at Boston National Park reached 310 in 2024. Then the park also supports other wildlife, including red deer, Mongolian gazelles, and Argali sheep, wolves, and marmots, etc. Next slide. The field school focus on three main aspects. First, participants will delve into biodiversity conservation at Boston National Park, gaining understanding into its rich biodiversity and the conservation efforts that sustain it. The program provides an opportunity to deeply understand the park's unique features, including its management strategies and innovative approaches to wildlife conservation. Through hands-on fieldwork, participants will observe and study Przewalski horses and other remarkable species such as Mongolian elk, gazelles, Argali sheep, marmots, and gray wolves. Additionally, participants will participate in vital activities like vegetation biomass assessments, which helps to learn ecological research techniques to collect and analyze essential data that supports conservation initiatives. Next slide. The second core focus of field school is community-based conservation. So participants will explore this concept and its significant impact within the park and its surrounding buffer zone as well. The program highlights the positive effects of sustainable resource management on local livelihoods, particularly for birding communities. Through visits to local enterprises, participants will gain insights into ecotourism enterprises, community-scale cheese factories, and or artisanal craft cooperatives. Additionally, participants will study the implementation of community-based rangeland management within the buffer zone and its critical role in protecting vital areas as well. Next slide. The third vital aspect of field school focuses on Mongolian traditional culture, blending scientific exploration with a rich cultural immersion experience. The participants will have the opportunity to engage in a traditional festival, such like a local horse festival, and explore Mongolian National History Museum, which helps to gaining a deeper understanding of country's ancient traditions and heritage as well. Also, the program includes meaningful interaction with Urdu families and hands-on experience in cultural activities like horse riding, camel riding, and traditional food preparation and participation in traditional game as well. Also, participants will witness innovative solutions in practice by visiting the Mongolian Bahar Dog project, which integrates traditional methods to combat certification and conserve essential rangelands.
Okay, so we are going to thank you, Sarah. Sorry, that was a little bit abrupt. We are going to look at our next field school. So that was our first course offered in June. And then our second one is with Dr. Richard Seelig Torello, who is here. Richard, are you able to unmute yourself? Hello, Richard? Richard, I'm not sure if you're there, but we can't hear you if you are. I think there might be some technical difficulties here. So I think while those get figured out, why don't we, Sarma, if you are still here for a second, why don't we jump ahead to yours? And then Richard, if you can, if your mic starts working, or maybe if you want to dial in, then we can come back to your discussion of your project, which we will definitely want to explore. So hopefully that sounds good. Sorry, everybody. Thanks for your patience. So let's discuss.
Next slide.
Yeah, my computer is working a little too hard at this PowerPoint, I think. Here we go. Okay. All right, Sarma, so you can take it away again and I will try to troubleshoot.
Okay, our second course is about the impacts of climate change on biodiversity in Houston National Park. In this course, we would like to emphasize the intricate relationship between climate change and biodiversity conservation within the park. The course aims to provide deeper understanding of how climate change affects park's ecosystems and the species that depend on them, while exploring adaptive strategies for effective biodiversity management. The course is going to be organized between it's July 21st and August 3rd. And also participants will spend the majority of the time at the park, same as the first one. There will be same instructors and supporting staff for this course as well. Next slide. The field school also focus on three main aspects. The first two aspects are more related to climate change. The participants will begin exploring biodiversity conservation at Costa National Park, which allows the participants gain insights into its diverse ecosystems and the efforts dedicated to preserving them. The program offers in-depth understanding of Costa National Park's unique features and conservation strategies. Also, participants will engage in field work to study wildlife, including persuasive horses and other species, and learn ecological research techniques through activities like wildlife monitoring and vegetation biomass assessment to support conservation efforts. Next slide. The course will also explore the impacts of climate change on biodiversity at Costa National Park. Especially participants will explore Costa National Park vegetation diversity and ecosystem dynamics with Axe botanist, focusing on climate change impacts, vegetation changes, and mitigation strategies. Also, the participants will study flowering periods, seasonal variations, and future ecosystem projections as well. At the park, climate change has notably reduced permafrost, which affects forest habitats, which is crucial for species like taki, wolves, and birds. And using the line transect method, participants will monitor ecological changes, recording species, weather, and environmental data in systemic way. Next slide. The second vital aspect of this course emphasizes community-based consideration in changing climate, especially program highlights the critical role of community-based conservation in Costa National Park and its surrounding buffer zone area. So participants will examine how climate change impacts local conservation initiatives, particularly in the context of rangeland management. Additionally, the course will explore how climate change intensifies conflicts between herders and crop farmers over land and resource use in the buffer zone. Next slide. For the traditional component, what sets this course different is that they visit to create some festival instead of a local horse festival. The some festival is a religious and cultural event which is held annually on the first weekend of August, which offers participants a unique opportunity to experience its vibrant traditions and spiritual significance. The festival offers a rich cultural experience with traditional dances, music, singing, along with a exciting horse racing, wrestling, and colorful display of traditional Mongolian attire. Also, we will experience other traditional activities like horse and camel riding and traditional food preparation and enjoying local games, etc. The most of the parts are same as the first course, but the different one is visiting the Tourism Festival. Any questions? All the instructions are here. Will answer your questions if you have any questions. I believe that we will have more detailed information for the next webinar.
Right now, as we're troubleshooting a little bit, feel free if any of you have questions about, the application or any of the, any of the stuff mentioned, either about any of the specific courses thus far or about the application. I am going to try to solve our
Hello?
problem. Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Richard, hi.
This is Richard.
Yay! Oh my goodness. Welcome. I'm so glad that we figured this out. Okay, so as you're chewing on some of your questions here, everybody, we are going to learn about our third field school program, which is, let me run back here in these slides, which my computer will need to think about for a second. And yes, we will learn about archaeological excavation of a Uyghur cultural heritage site in Mongolia, which is very cool. So here we go. And Richard, just let me know when you want me to change the slides, okay?
Okay. Well, please change the slide. Next slide. Hello?
We can hear you.
Hello?
We can hear you.
Okay.
Right,
Yeah,
I'm just muting myself. So yeah, I'll just change the slides whenever I hear you.
okay. Well, great. Okay, so we're finally working here. It's finally all coming together. All right. So today's Mongolians are descendants of nomads who built some of the greatest empires the world has ever seen. And these empires had tremendous impact on the cultures of Central and Eastern Asia and even Europe. Despite their importance, we know very little about how these empires arose in mobile pastoral populations who lived in marginal environments. These are features that we commonly associate with egalitarian societies and not empire builders. How and why empires emerged in this situation is one of the foremost research questions in the archaeology of Mongolia and Central Asia. But central to this question, one that most people who are studying empires in Mongolia, is the role of cities and urban centers in this nomadic landscape. Although we know of many cities, few of them, in fact, maybe only 3 or 4, have been studied in any detail. To address this deficiency, we started the Uyghur Cultural Heritage Project, UCHP, in 2024. Do you have my video, Maggie?
I don't have the video, but if you have a link or if I can put it in the chat if
Okay, here
it's
it
a
is.
link to something. Okay.
All
Or
right.
you can put it in the chat. Go ahead.
Okay, so next slide. Earlier empires in Mongolia, and there were several, built forts and temples and other kinds of structures. But the Uyghurs were the first to actually build cities and towns. The Uyghur Empire flourished from the middle of the 8th century CE to the 9th century and was one of several empires that preceded the famous 12th century Mongol Empire of Chinggis, better known as Genghis Khan. Tsamansugen Balgas, which is translated as the White Palace Ruin, is the subject of our study, was one such urban center that was established by the Uyghur Empire in a tributary of the Orkhon Valley of central Mongolia, sometime between the 7th and 8th centuries. The Orkhon Valley, which is often considered the sacred heartland of Mongolia, and now a UNESCO World Heritage Site, was the home of the Uyghur capital of Harbalgas, and later Harhoran or Karakoram, which was the capital of the Mongol Empire. Next slide. Still don't have the video. In terms of our research goals, we seek information concerning the role that Sagan Sumin Balgas played in the Uyghur society. Specifically, who built the town, who resided there, and what activities took place there. Was it a center for political, religious, or commercial activities, or all of those? Chronology is crucial to our study. Some scholars believe that Sagan Sumin Balgas was the first Uyghur urban center ever built in the mid-7th century before the establishment of the actual empire. Other scholars argue that the Uyghurs could not have built an urban center before they had established their empire and had the means to actually build an urban center. So one of our initial goals is to establish the dates of construction and occupation of the site. To this end, we'll conduct excavations and pedestrian surface surveys to collect datable materials such as wood, bone, ceramics, roof tiles, and coins. If we're very lucky, we'll find coins. Next slide. Okay, what the participants can expect to learn is that they'll gain an understanding of what we call medieval archaeology in Mongolia. And that's the time from the Turkic cultures to the end of the Genghis Khan's Mongol Empire. They will have hands-on experience in basic archaeological methods of pedestrian survey, hand excavation, screening or sieving materials, artifact processing and recording, and digital mapping and photography. And we will use conventional and drone photography in combination with state-of-the-art computer software to document our investigations and to create 3D models of the site and its environments. Thank you. Next slide. Okay, in terms of broader objectives, we will hope that you will gain an archaeological understanding of the archaeology of Mongolia. And to do that, we'll be visiting museums in Ulaanbaatar and the World Heritage Sites of the Orhan Valley. These include Harbalgus, as I said, the capital of the Uyghur Empire, Harhoran, the capital of the Mongol Empire, the great monastery of Erdenzu, and several other nearby sites, as well as there's a museum, a very good museum at Harhoran. And students will come away from this experience with a broad understanding of Mongolian archaeology from, we hope, the Paleolithic age to the historical period, while helping to preserve important and endangered cultural heritage. And that's another important aspect of our study, is not just to learn about the past, but to preserve the past. And in this respect, we'll be working with, hopefully, with some of the local community. Next slide. Okay, here's an aerial drone photo that we took of Tsagan Suman Balgas with the south at the top of the picture. And for scale, you can see at the bottom left-hand corner our campsite. Yes, this picture was taken while we had conducted some of our earliest excavations. And you might be able to see a couple of small excavation units in an isolated room in the eastern or left side of the map. Next slide. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Next slide. Another view of Sagan Suman Balgas and its surroundings. This is a view to the southwest. Maggie, maybe you can point out that little silvery thing in the middle right. A little more to your right. Yes. That is Sagan Suman Gol, or Sagan Suman Creek, which winds through the valley. And then you can see our camp off to the left, a little bit left of your arrow there, right there. And beyond in the distance, you can see the Ger camps, or tourist camps, where we'll most likely be staying. Okay, thank you. Next slide. Next slide. Oh, good. The animations are working. This is part of our data recording, and in some respect, heritage preservation. We'll be doing digital modeling of the features that we find at sites. In this case, you're looking at a nearby deer stone and burial cairn that dates the earlier Bronze Age. Next, off to the left is a model of a wall segment at Sagan Suman Balgas. And the walls here are made of a technique that's called rammed earth. They're layers of packed dirt. And if you, once this turns around to the other side, you'll notice a series of holes, a row of holes near the bottom. There would be another row of holes that are less well preserved up at the top of that image. And these were wooden beams that were placed horizontally across the rammed earth layers to help stabilize these walls. And these will prove to be very important for us, as I will point out later. The next, at the bottom right, is a recording of one of our excavation units. And this 3D modeling allows us to get a complete image of both profiles, and as well as the floor of our excavation. If you notice, right at the center there on the floor is a little hump, and that is the remains of a wooden post. We believe that we excavated a doorway here. And if you look carefully behind that. Maggie, can you point that out right there in the bottom center of that image? Yeah, right there. And right above it, you can see a gray area. If we could zoom in on that, you would see layers of wall, layers that made up the wall. And so this is the type of recording we'll be doing, as well as traditional profiles and one-dimensional or two-dimensional photography. Okay, next slide. Okay, one of the things that I'm really excited about working at Sagan Sumin Balgas is the chance to do dendrochronology and maybe contribute to the dendroclimatological record of Mongolia. What we discovered at this site were these preserved beams that are embedded in the wall. In the upper illustration, you can see a pair of them that were eroding from the mud wall. And in the bottom illustration, right there in the center is a beam that's protruding from the wall segment, right above the north arrow. And in the past, currently, Mongolian archaeologists depend almost exclusively on radiocarbon dating to date archaeological events. And unfortunately, that the 7th to 9th century was a time when the radiocarbon record is what we call a plateau, where we can't get very precise dates. That they're so imprecise that we can't tell a date from 750 from a date from 850. And this is the critical time when the site we believe was founded. And radiocarbon dating will not solve this problem. But I'm hoping that we can date these timbers, and our survey last summer encountered at least 17, and we believe there are more. That if we can date these, we can get a precise date for the founding of Sagan Sumin Balgas almost to the year. Thank you. Next slide. Some of the other things that we'll be finding that will be diagnostic are roof tiles and ceramics. And in the upper left here, we have what we call a barrel tile that lies with its convex surface on the top. And then the bottom right, we have a different tile that lies concave surface up. And this one is on the bottom, and the barrel tiles go on top, connecting pairs of these other tiles. And in the upper right, we have what is often, what is referred to in Chinese architecture as a wadong. And this is the end cap for a barrel tile. If you can see this, this would be completely round and would fit in that curve area at the end of the barrel tile. And these are very diagnostic and in terms of dating and in terms of establishing relationships between different urban centers because they use similar styles in the different centers. And then in the bottom left are some examples of the type of ceramics that we'll find. This indented decoration is the common type of decoration in these medieval age ceramics. Okay, next slide. Okay, the schedule. We're going to be running 2 sessions, and they're both going to be pretty much the same. Day 1, which would be Saturday, June 14th, you would be arriving in Ulaanbaatar sometime in the morning or early afternoon. You'd be picked up from the airport and driven to the city and to your hotel near the city center. And that evening we would meet at dinner and we would have to introduce ourselves. The next day would be staying in Ulaanbaatar and give you a chance to sort of wind down from your trip. We'll be doing in the afternoon some touring the museums, to give you an exposure to Mongolian archaeology. And then in the evening, we'll have a simple course orientation to tell you about our camp situation and what we expect and what you will expect, what you can expect. Day 3 will be starting very early in the morning because we'll have a long trip of at least 8 hours from Ulaanbaatar to the camp at Sagan-Sumin-Balgas. And in the evening, we'll have again another lecture that will focus more on Mongolian archaeology. So starting on day 4, which would be a Tuesday, we begin field work, and by the end of the week, we would hope to have enough materials to begin doing the laboratory work as well. Field work would involve excavation, survey, photography, and a variety of things like that. Day 8, we'll take a day off, and we'll gather in the vehicles and drive over to the Orkhan Valley to tour those World Heritage Sites of Harbalgus, Harhoran, and Erden Zoo, and some other places. And we may be able to stop in and visit with some other excavations in the area. On Sunday, we'll do just work in the morning, and you can take the afternoon off. You can do whatever you like. It's a free day. You can rest, sleep, do your laundry, go hike around, explore, whatever you would like to do. And then starting on Monday, day 10 to day 14, we would be returning to field work and laboratory work. And on Saturday, the 15th, we'd pack up early in the morning and return to Ulaanbaatar, and that would be the completion of the course. Now, for the second session, there's a bit of overlap here because as we are driving back to Ulaanbaatar, the second group would be arriving in Ulaanbaatar. And so we'd begin the same process again, that the new arrivers would be picked up at the airport and brought to the city center. And in the evening, we would meet with this group. And the schedule would be essentially the same for these 15 days. Now, those people who would like to do both sessions would have the option of going back to Ulaanbaatar and spending a day or two resting there and doing further exploration there, or staying in camp and again having free time there. Okay, next slide. Okay, this is your team. Myself, Richard Choick Torello. I'm a senior archaeologist at a cultural resource management firm called Statistical Research, Inc., and also a designated campus colleague at the University of Arizona in Tucson. I have over 50 years of experience directing archaeological projects and field schools in the U.S. Southwest and Southern California. In 2012, I began studying Mongolian archaeology and participated in my first excavation there in 2015 in the Gobi Desert. In 2017, I teamed up with Dr. Amgalantugs to investigate Bibelik, a large Uyghur town in northern Mongolia. And then we initiated the UCHP project in 2024 when myself and Dr. Amgalantugs joined with Dr. Batbayer to explore Sagan-Sumin-Balgas, Bibelik, and other Uyghur towns. So Sagan-Sumin-Balgas is only one of the towns that we are investigating as part of this project. Okay, Dr. Sent Amgalantugs is a member of the Institute of Archaeology at the Mongolian Academy of Sciences. He's got over 20 years of experience directing archaeological projects throughout Mongolia. Recently completed a dissertation on Bronze Age archaeology and is an expert on Bronze Age mortuary and burial sites. These mortuary sites from the Bronze Age are called hirigsurs, and we'll be learning more about those as well from Dr. Amgalantugs. Dr. Tumur Ochir Batbayer is also a member of the Institute of Archaeology. He's a recognized expert on the medieval age archaeology in Mongolia and of study of urban sites. He's many years of experience working in these ancient Mongolian cities. Between 2004 and 17, he participated in the Mongolian German team excavating the Mongol Empire capital at Harhoran. And he completed his dissertation on the Nestorian monuments at that site in 2021. And he'll be telling us about that. Since 2017, he's continued to work with the Mongolian German team on excavations at the Uyghur capital of Harbalgas. Okay, next slide. Okay, this in the upper right is a picture of our student crew members that we worked with last summer at Sagan Sumin. And below that is our team of archaeologists, drivers, cooks, and other people that you will be encountering, people like these that you'll be encountering on this expedition. And off to the left is the traditional parting ceremony that you will experience when you leave Sagan Sumin. This young lady or someone like her will be dipping milk on your cars and tires to ensure your safety back to the big city. Thank you. I believe that's it.
Thank you. So now, sorry, I just saw a message. Yes, so thank you so much, Richard. I would love to open the floor to everybody for any questions about anything related to either of the courses or any of the courses for any of the instructors or for the program generally. If any of you have questions for either of Dr. Nyamdova's courses, it looks like she has to leave in just a few minutes. And so if there's any questions about that course specifically, please feel free to jump in and ask those first, either in the chat if you are like me and don't want to ask questions over your Zoom microphone, or feel free to jump off of mute and ask questions that way as well. Yeah.
Thank you, Maggie. We are ready to answer your questions.
There's one question in the chat.
Morning.
A question from Buyer, do you mean? Okay. I think it's related to the scholarship. Yes, I believe that if I understood correctly, the scholarship is for foreign participants, since the fee for Mongolian participants is very low.
So we have scholarships, fellowships available for both foreign and for Mongolian participants as well. Yeah, we would just ask them to fill out the same application form. Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions? Also, you can email us about your questions, and we can answer in privately as well if you want.
It looks like we do have a question from Ninja, right, to Dr. For our archaeology course. So please go ahead, ask the questions. I think, can you unmute yourself?
Yeah, you all should be able to unmute yourselves.
Yeah.
I changed the settings, so you should all be able to unmute yourselves or ask in the chat.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, go on.
Okay. I want to turn the video on. Let me see. It doesn't work. Oh, it's
There you
here.
are. Hi.
Hello. First of all, I want to say hi to the friends I made last year in Kustai National Park program. And also thank you, Dr. Maggie Lindroth, to answer my email, describe the Uyghur Cultural Heritage Project question. And I'm excited to learn more from Dr. Siolek Torillo about the Uyghur Cultural Heritage Program. At this point, I sent in my application yesterday. Now, well, in your talk just now, I wonder, I have two questions. I wonder for the archaeology side, the discoveries already already there. Is there any website I can learn more about what's already discovered? That will be a good preparation to know what have been found and to gain some knowledge about that site. Second question, you mentioned the discoveries past, and if we in this coming program we can find something. I hope we found the digital modeling will be the method. Will the participants involve into the digital modeling, and how do we prepare for that? Any suggestion? I would like to hear about these two areas.
Okay, your first question, no, we don't have a website yet. We're just starting on this. We are making some presentations that are summarizing our results. My Mongolian colleagues are doing a presentation in Ulaanbaatar this month,
Okay.
summarizing some of our findings. And then I will be doing a presentation at the Society for American Archaeology in April, along with one of my other colleagues. We'll be doing a couple of presentations, one of which will be on the digital modeling. So that would be available to everybody. I mean, we could make that available to everybody. We can put it on perhaps on the ACMS website. Maggie?
Okay.
Yeah, we can definitely talk about that. That would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I would hope that we can get everybody who's interested involved in the digital photography and modeling. We did a lot of drone modeling of the entire site, but we missed some areas. The drone went astray, and so we'll need to fill in some of those gaps. And what we've learned is that it's good to do these models more than once, perhaps every year, because things change. And we've looked at a model made by some of the German archaeologists of this site, and in 2018, I believe they flew the site, and things have changed a lot since then. So by continually doing these drone models, we are documenting the site and recording its preservation and how it's deteriorating. Unfortunately, yes, these sites are subject to a lot of erosion. They're made of mud, and the other it's not only the weather that erodes them, but um, the herds of animals. They climb all over the walls. They rub against the walls. And I even saw goats eating the walls. They're probably trying to get salt out of the. So yes, we're documenting each year how the site changes. So even though we've completed a lot of modeling, we'll be doing it over again. And yes, there are areas that we haven't completed modeling. There's also some satellite sites around there that we will also be documenting that we didn't do last year. So there'll be opportunities for the students to get involved in that as well.
Well,
Does that
thank you very
answer your
much.
question?
Yeah, thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Great, thank you. Are there other questions?
If I can continue before the
Sure,
question
go for it.
comes. Okay. Well, in my history education, and now I try to catch on technology, and I'm excited if I'm accepted by the program. I'm really excited to go to this archaeology site and do the work as the program has designed, and to prepare myself the best. What you suggest I should catch on the digital modeling and prepare myself when I'm there. I don't have to learn from the very beginning. Recently, I attended a digital humanity workshop. I learned a lot from that, but this digital modeling, I think, can be very different. So if you have some reading or exercise or any website or reading suggest, I will be really appreciated to start the preparation.
Okay. For the for modeling of three-dimensional things like the walls, the deer stones, and excavations, things that we can walk around and photograph. We use the program called Polycam,
Mhm.
and you could look into that. You
Okay.
can also I think you have my email address. We can also get in touch, and I can send you information as I get it.
Okay, great.
But they're they're not that hard to learn. I learned it in a few days with help. Uh,
Okay, great.
um,
The equipment will be on site, right? Do we need to bring something particular? I have my camera, and do I need to have a kind of camera to meet the work need, or everything is
well,
on site already?
you can use an iPhone or an iPad.
Oh, okay.
Um,
iPhone should be good enough.
yes.
Oh, okay.
You just have to get the program onto your camera, your iPhone camera, and
I
it works from there. So yes, I mean, if you unfortunately there's a fee for the program, an
Mhm.
annual fee, but it's a modest fee.
Mhm.
And you can load that onto your camera, and then there's some practice things that you can do with it.
Oh,
And
okay.
if you have any questions, you can reach out to us.
Okay.
And again, if you have any, I mean, I can, we'll have a reading list
Oh, great.
for
Mhm.
participants. Um,
Great.
and yes, there's a few critical publications. But
Mhm.
unfortunately, there's not a whole lot about these sites. Um, yeah, as far as I know, that there's only three Uyghur or Uyghur. The Mongolians call them Uyghurs,
Mhm.
not
Mhm.
Uyghurs. So we'll probably use both terms. And there's Mongolian terms for every site, and then there's other terms, many terms for these sites. So it may get
Mhm.
confusing.
Mhm.
But yeah, as far as I know, that there's only three Uyghur sites that have been, well, you can say, intensively excavated. Most of the others have been visited
Mhm.
and looked at and poked at, but we know very little about them. And so that's our goal, is to explore several of these sites. We're looking at two of them, but our field school will only be looking at this site. We selected this site because it's so close to tourist facilities
Mhm.
for students, and it's so close to the Orkhan Valley where we can get a much broader exposure.
Mhm. Mhm. Thank you for the explanation. Probably you
Well, I
can
hope that
see
helped.
I cannot wait to go to the program.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse me, can I ask a question of someone? Is that legitimate?
Yeah.
Is Paula DePriest still there?
Paula.
I noticed her name showed up.
Hi, Paula. Are you here?
Yes, I'm here. I'm sorry, I had to step away for a telephone really quickly. Hi, did you have a question for me?
Well, we've never met, but you were a member of SRI's or a
Right.
partner with SRI in the Oyotogo project.
Oh, kind of loosely.
Yeah.
And I did want to tell you that I've actually been to the Uyghur site in Tuva,
Ah,
at
Korbajing?
Terry Hole, huh? At Terry Hole,
Not
and there's
Korbajing then.
yes, at Forbagen.
Okay. Wow, you're lucky.
Yeah,
I'd love
and
to see that site.
I'm going to put a picture in the chat. It was a slide from one of my presentations. And it's amazing to me how similar the outline is of that one to the ones that you have. And I've actually seen the sites in Mongolia.
Mhm. Well, that's what a lot of people have noted, is the similarity between Tsagan Sumin, Purbajin, and then the fortress at Harbalgas.
Uh-huh. It's a really interesting. And I've always worked with the reindeer herders in northern Mongolia who themselves consider themselves as Uyghur.
Hmm. Really?
Mm.
Mhm. So
That's cool.
their relatives actually come from this site very near this location.
Hmm. Well, thank you.
Awesome. Do we have any other questions as we're heading towards 9:30 here on the East Coast? So I don't want to keep everybody in your various parts of the day that we're all in too long. But if there's any other questions, please, feel free to unmute or put it in the chat and ask. Or if you're not comfortable doing that, you can always reach out to us either directly via email or to each of the instructors if you have a specific question. All right, I'm going to take this silence as a no questions. That is totally fine. If you're interested in applying, please go ahead and submit that application. They're due for fellowship consideration for all participants of all backgrounds and ages, education levels, etc. On February 15th. Is our first deadline. So try to get your application in as soon as possible to make sure that you're considered for fellowships. We would love to have you this summer. And yeah, if you think of any questions between now and then, please don't hesitate to contact us at Mongolia Field School MFS at mongoliacenter.org, or contact the instructors that you are hoping to get in touch with specifically. All of that info is also on our website. So, and feel free to follow us on social media and subscribe to our newsletter. We'll also be sharing this webinar on our YouTube channel, as well as then a link to that on our social media and in our newsletter and on our website. So you can always come back, watch it later, scroll through for those parts that you really missed. And we will be uploading a version of these slides to our website as well and sending those out to all of you. So yeah, you have plenty of resources. And once again, thank you so much for attending today. And yeah, we hope to receive applications from you very soon. So have a great rest of your day.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, I got one question.
Sure, what's up?
Ma'am, it's about the archaeology course. So there are two sessions, right? So at the end of the day, you have put a third session, like combining the both sessions. So the sessions are same, right? So what's the advantage of I'm taking the combined version for almost 1 month?
So if you really the advantage is if you want to spend a month in the field and really get that experience and build up those archaeological skills, then that month would be the ideal way to do that, because 2 weeks is going to fly by, and so that's why we're structuring it that way. And for students who are in archaeology programs, something like a month is more ideal for really learning those skills. But of course, 2 weeks is still going to be an amazing experience. So we welcome either one.
Yes, ma'am, I understood. But if I, for example, if I attend the first session, in the second session, some other persons might also come. So the course is going to be repetitive, right? I mean, the content is going to be repetitive, right? Or is it going to be a new content in the second session? Is it like that?
Okay, can I answer that?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
The schedule will be the same, but when you're doing archaeology, it's always different. I mean, we'll be excavating in different places and finding different things. We'll be recording different places. As I mentioned earlier, we have a couple of satellite sites that we'll be visiting, but we won't do that all in 2 weeks. We'll be spreading that out over the 4 weeks. So yes, lectures will be similar. The basic schedule will be the same, but the actual archaeological experience will be different every day.